Other interesting political news, you have Gavin Newsom signing a law so that you actually can't pass a law requiring voter IDs, which is grammatically quite awkward, but I think technically still correct. Now, this comes to us thanks to the good old X Twitter. Specifically, it's the rabbit hole saying, quote, "So much for protecting democracy." We'll actually go into the actual specific article as well. Now, they say, quote, "California outlaws local voter ID rules. The legislation is a direct response to conservative Orange County's push to require voter IDs at the polls." So you want to require IDs at the polls? Banned. You can't have that. Which a lot of people are saying this is stupid, mentally. Well, I think only I would use the vernacular mentally vacuous, but I don't think so. I think it's actually a calculated thing that they're doing, because they want illegal votes. There's no other reason, there's no other reason to oppose voter ID than wanting illegal votes. That's the only reason you want it. To say that people who are Hispanic or African American, they can't get IDs, is one of those. The bigotry of low expectations is so racist, it's disgusting. I can't believe they stand on the left and get away with it. Spoiler alert, my family came from Cuba. I was born in America, but we all got IDs just fine. It was a pretty simple process. Don't get me wrong, going to the DMV is probably a great example of the ineptitudes of the U.S. government in general, but it's it's a pain in the rear. But again, it still slowly works. It doesn't take much. The barrier to get an ID is so low in the United States, it's almost comical. Now, going to the specific article, and then again, we'll go back to the actual comments, which are infinitely more interesting. The link will actually pull up here. Let's see here. They remove that link. Let's see. I'd be irate if they actually move things around. Really? I have to go to the Google. California outlaws. All right. Let me actually pull it up here. What publication did they originally post this in? California outlaws local ID. California outlaws voter ID rules. Appreciate everyone's patience today. It's been a crazy week. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna read this. Also reposted by Owen Gregorian. He actually pointed the specific article at Politico. There we go. Let's see here. Now let's say, quote, "Sacramento, California. Local governments in California will be barred from establishing local laws that require residents to present identification to vote in elections under a new law signed by Gavin Newsom. Newsom. The legislation from Senator Dave Min, an Orange County Democrat, of course, running for Representative Kate Porter's open house seat in direct response to I can't believe this. They call it is political. So again, everyone has their frame of reference and their opinion. But they say this is a controversial ballot that was approved by the voters in Huntington Beach, requiring people to show ID at the polls, which will take effect January 1st. So interestingly enough, this is going to be after the big presidential election that everyone is thinking about darn near 24/7. Now they say, quote, "California is one of 14 states that do not require voter IDs at the polls, according to the National Conference of State Legislators," which that is just so stupid. It just erodes what little faith there is in terms of the election process. But really, 14 states, you don't need an ID? Really? You need an ID to do darn near everything, from checking out a library book to buying cough syrup to going to pretty much buying alcohol, renting a car, getting in as you might say, getting in the club. Pretty much most major activities, to get in a sports ball stadium sometimes. And yet you don't need. They think you shouldn't need an ID to do debatably one of the most important things people do these days. Which is cast your ballot to vote. That is just ridiculous. And I say, quote, "The Republican-led city, whose leaders often topple with Sacramento Democrats, has maintained that its status as a charter city gives it a home rule over elections administration. But Attorney General Rob Bonta and the Secretary of State Shirley Weaver aren't buying it. The officials sued Huntington Beach in April to invalidate the law, arguing it interferes with the state voting rights protections." It's a right in California to not need an ID to vote. Fascinating, their priorities over there. And they say, quote, "Mini's legislation is one of nearly half dozen bills introduced by Democrat state lawmakers this year, looking to close in the legal gray areas in state election laws. The change aims to prevent Huntington Beach, Shasta County, and other conservative local governments from establishing election policies that are often driven by the suspicions of voter fraud," which, Yeah, if you have no ID, it's pretty easy to commit that crime. Ridiculous. Legislation from Senator Steve Bradford, signed into law early this week on Wednesday, clarifies that record-keeping procedures for secure election states increases the Secretary of State's regulatory power over poll books and over voting systems used in local elections. This is hilarious. They call them ultra-conservatives. I mean, that sounds like to be a t-shirt or a mug. It says, quote, ultra-conservative local officials in Shasta County unsuccessfully attempted to dump electronic voting machines last year, citing baseless concerns over voter fraud. Their arguments mimic claims about voting machines made by former President Donald Trump in the 2020 election, which I'm actually surprised political actually refers to Donald Trump as the president in this particular case. Going to the comments section down here, and moderately viral, got 10.8 million views as well as 3.7 thousand likes. I'll just point out that's not a great like ratio. I guess maybe people are just referencing they don't like this happened. Partially digress. Now, of course, now that I scroll down the article, refresh now it's there, but nevertheless, TVD says Gavin Newsom in a nutshell, and it's Gavin Newsom with paint that looks like a clown getting 292 likes. Rebel responded saying, quote, terrible taste in legislation. Craig Chamberlain says, quote, we must destroy democracy to save democracy. Democrats, apparently. Got 32 likes, which oddly reminiscent of, remember Pelosi said, we have to pass the bill in order to read it. We also have Stock Monkey saying the Democrats like to say that Trump is a danger to democracy, but the Democrats who are often the danger to democracy getting 209 likes, which, yep. A lot of metaphors, the pot calling the kettle black, or, old Marxist theory, you accuse your enemies of what you're doing. Let's see here. Fight with memes. A+ for name. They actually used a meme or meme in the response, in addition to some text. They say in text, quote, I don't want to be that guy, but it sounds like they might be trying to hide something. It's a crazy-looking guy on the street saying how Democrats win elections. It says the secret ingredient is crime. Getting 104 likes. Let's see, any contrarian statements? Not yet. Fawad Hassin says, quote, exactly that if they strip away basic voter protections like ID requirements, what's next? The move isn't about fairness, it's about control. Voter ID is common sense, getting 37 likes. Which, of course, is the United States in 2024. Common sense is, unfortunately, very uncommon, so to say. Scrolling down more and more. There's got to be some Californians that they like this, maybe. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. Octavian Voss says all 14 states interesting. And it says unauthorized immigrants. California at 3.8 million. And they're all Democrat except Wyoming. What the hell's up with Wyoming? That's a little disappointing. It's supposed to be cowboys. Nevertheless, yeah, so California, I'm not sure how recent this reporting is, but it says 3.8 million unauthorized immigrants. That's illegal aliens is what you really call them. New York at 1.2 million. New Jersey, 900,000. Illinois, or people improperly call it Illinois, 800,000. Massachusetts, 600,000. Nevada, 380,000. Oregon, 240,000. Pennsylvania, 440,000. Minnesota at 180,000. New Mexico, 110,000. Maine at 10,000. Maryland, 550,000. Vermont, 10,000. As well as Wyoming, 10,000. They're all Democrat except for Wyoming, which, again, perhaps Wyoming, because of the culture over there, maybe instead of a voter ID, they simply have a hat scanning device in which if you walk in with your, traditional cowboy hat that's unique to you, the AI cameras can automatically detect who your actual, your ID of who you are based on your specific hat. We don't know. Further research is needed. I'm only, of course, partially jesting over there. That little infographic did get 10 likes. Unfortunately, I'm looking, I don't see the actual site to the actual source. So maybe take it with a grain of salt. Robert Bird also says, what's wrong with requiring IDs to voting? 19 likes. He also has someone who did AI of Gavin Newsom dressed up in as Jesus in pink with the, I forget what you call it. Is it not commode? The fancy Chinese looking t-shirt, no, not t-shirt, long sleeve shirt with buttons. You lose me at the moment. I'm obviously not a fashion aficionado. I just buy one suit once and make it last. And obviously it's timeless for 430 episodes. It's like a champ. Now, it has the text on Gavin Newsom saying, quote, G Newsom bans fair elections in California, getting 7 likes. Let's see. Yes, here we go. Carrie Christina Brando says they are lying. And this strategy is becoming more and more viral because I think it resonates with so many people. The kind of thinking this is actually true. Now, it's called the Cloven Pivot Strategy. And it says, quote, a political strategy to overload the American public welfare system to the point where it creates a crisis and bankruptcy in the nation, leaving America no choice but to adopt a socialist as communist agenda. At this point, I only got one. Let's make it 2 likes there. 3. I was going to say, it's skyrocketing likeness. It's trending, as youth might say. Which, yeah, when you look at what politicians have done to the United States, under the left and the right, they've ramped up that debt, created more crises, and, yeah. I got Kami, some people might call her Kami Kamala. That's what I would call her if I used more nicknames. But you're talking about literally price fixing as well as gun confiscation. Should scare the little hell out of most folks. Let's see. One or two more comments. Michael Servo says the American people are being replaced by illegal immigrants. Wake the F up, people. King 6 likes. So yeah, it's I guess it is interesting because again, there are conservative parts of California. A lot of states do have. I mean, don't get me wrong. A lot of states are more red or more blue, but there are still areas where you have contrarian political ideologies. I mean, look at Texas. You have Austin, which is historically they say keep Austin weird for a reason. And it's a deep, deep blue. It's the bluest start of all of the great country called Texas. And even California, there are some places that are actually very much red or right leaning that actually want to install actual faith in the elections and make sure people are only voting if they're allowed to. And they're trying to pass those laws, but the state of California is saying nope, you are not allowed to do that. Now again, this goes into effect January 1st, so maybe it'll have more effect. Obviously, right now it's a local level in California, but yeah, I can't but wonder. Are those states going to change anytime soon in terms of the 14 that don't have that requirement? What are your thoughts? Do you think the common consensus these days, like the average American, understands it's important to have voter ID and they don't think it's controversial to ask for it? But I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments because, as always, it'd be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button, I'd greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.